Okay, I have all my coloring with my markers done on this. I wanted to show you this finished, and while it was still on there, lots of times when you're doing this, you think you've got it all, and then you take it off and realize, oh, it still does look kind of flat. So, some point before you get rid of your background, I want you to put this under a white piece of paper underneath it, and make sure that you can still see the shading, the three-dimensional qualities of the fruit and the bowl. On the bowl, I did leave some white, but I also went in with quite a bit of black on the purple because the purple's so dark, the brown doesn't show up. Even on the cloth, I added a little bit of brown, and then in the darkest places, I added some black. I'm hoping that will work for me. All of this marker is just kind of setting on top of this plastic. It doesn't absorb. So that's how we're going to get our print out of this. If you're pleased with the way it turned out, then you can take it off. The other thing I wanted to caution you on is I had to be super careful when I was over here. My acetate was not quite all the way off the paper, and if I would have put marker there, sometimes kids hand these in. They're really nice drawings, and they'll have marker. I actually got a tiny bit right there. I don't know if you can see it. Make sure it's on there. A little tiny bit there, but sometimes kids will color sloppy and then they'll get all this marker on the outside edges, and that just doesn't look nice. And this may end up being the artwork that you hand in. I may have you turn them both in. You only have to put it on Artsonia once, but I have you do it this way. One, it's good practice, and two, sometimes the prints do not turn out very well. So if that's the case, you have to choose to which one you're going to put on. It depends on the prints. It depends a lot on how much water you use, how well the print turns out. Sometimes we don't get enough water on it and there isn't hardly a print there. Sometimes we get way too much water and it's just a watery mess and you can't really see the fruit bowl anymore. So hopefully I'm going to do it right the first time. I should have brought some examples over of good ones, but I'll have those in class if this doesn't turn out. What we're going to do for this is, first of all, I want to make sure that you know which side your ink is on. So like if you don't know, just touch a little bit with a wet finger. Yep, I can tell my ink is on this side. I'm going to set this over here so that I know which way the ink is up. I have a bucket with some water down here by my desk. You'll just be getting it from the sink. And I want your sponge to be wet, but not dripping wet. So after I get it to the right point, I'm going to take and go very quickly over the top of this to wet my paper, flip this over, lay it down, and press. Now, the reason I have to go quickly is because that paper, as soon as it gets wet, starts to bubble. And you can see that right in here. And you know what? I got my paper too wet because this is not going to turn out very well. Nope, not a fan of that. It's okay, but it's not amazing because I had just a little too much water on there, and you can see that there's wrinkles in there. If you take a long time in between the time that you put your water on there and your paper, you'll never get it to print correctly because you'll have all these wrinkles in your paper. So do it quickly. In class, I'll show you some better examples because this is not a great one. You're going to be thinking, Mrs. Edgren, why did we do this? But the ones that do turn out amazing are pretty impressive. So I will stop there and show you the best ones in class.